how to find deals in a current seller's market. What you're going to learn today is the secrets of finding deals in any market, why you're currently not finding deals and what you can do about that, why most people don't understand about finding deals, a step-by-step guide to find properties. Okay, what is a seller's market? Okay, a seller's market is when the demand, people that want to buy, exceeds the supply, people who want to sell. That's how simple this is. The demand, people who want to buy, exceed the supply, people who want to sell. Buyers exceed sellers. So there are a lot more buyers than there are sellers. And what does this do? Well, it makes prices go up. It means sellers have the advantage when it comes to financing conditions and deadlines and negotiating and price. Finding deals in a seller's market, one of the things a lot of people turn to is the multiple listing service. And this is going to be one of the most difficult ways to find properties. I'm not going to say you can't, but it's one of the most difficult. If homes can be sold with an FHA loan, it's going to be so difficult to find a good deal because there's homeowners that could buy the house. And a homeowner is going to pay more money than an investor can pay for the property. And so the homeowner is going to buy that. If the property's in need of work, you might have an opportunity on that. But again, it's going to be better. The property in need of work that's not listed on the MLS is going to be a much better way for you. So why does FHA matter? FHA is the majority of homes get sold with FHA financing, Federal Housing Administration financing. There is certain conditions that each property needs to meet in order to qualify for FHA financing. If the property is in need of any work whatsoever, it's not going to qualify for FHA financing, meaning someone that wants to buy the property isn't going to be able to go get a loan on that property. That is where seller has a few options. The seller can sell to a cash buyer or someone that's getting a hard money loan, or they can spend the time and money to fix it up and then sell it to the buyer that wants to go get a loan. But most of the time the seller doesn't have the money to fix it up, so they need to sell to a cash buyer or somebody that's getting a hard money loan. Most people just don't understand that if the home does not meet the requirements of condition, you can't get traditional financing on that property. You just can't get it. And so that seller is going to have to spend the money or sell to an investor, which is where we can come in. So how do we find deals in a seller's market? If the seller has the advantage, how do we find deals? The key is we have to find off-market deals or off-market properties. So what are off-market deals? If you've been following me for a while, you know that this is a game changer. We have to find deals that are not listed on the multiple listing service. This means that you may want to sell, but you haven't listed yet, or you haven't listed with an agent yet. We have to find properties that are in need of work. They're not listed. So we want motivation and equity, homes that have problems, homes that need something done to the property where they're not going to be able to just sell it to anybody on the MLS. So how do we find properties that meet these conditions? They have equity, they have motivation, and they have problems, because those are the highest ones that I'm going to be able to help out and make a deal happen. Well, they're not listed, they're motivated, can only sell to an investor because of the problems and having equity in the property. Well, one of the solutions to do this is called driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is you determine an area to drive in. You want to drive in the right area. We determine this by what zip codes have the most fix and flips in that area. Where are the most fix and flips? Do not overlook this point. You want to research the most buy and sell activity in your county by zip code, and then determine those top couple of zip codes, and you will go and drive those areas. The next thing you want to do is set up your system. You want to set up a phone dialer. I recommend using Mojo Sales. It's a 3-line dialer or a 1-line dialer. It's like $100 to $150 a month. I don't get paid. They're not endorsing this, but I've used them before. Next thing you've got to do is skip trace, okay? There's many skip trace services that are available. Investor's Edge can do this for you. I really recommend that. And then you've got to track your driving, right? So you've got to make sure you don't drive the same area twice. You want to wait about 6 months in between the times you actually drive those properties. Investor's Edge app also does this automatically for you. And then we start driving, guys. We jump in the car and we're driving around. We're looking for homes that have problems. Remember, if the home's in bad condition, it can't be bought with conventional FHA financing. They're gonna have to sell to an investor or spend the money to fix the property up themselves. The owner may be more motivated to work with you. So when we're driving around, what are we looking for in these homes? Well, we're looking for bad roofs or blue tarps or broken windows or boarded up homes or windows, dead landscape, place that has construction materials, gutters that are in disrepairs, legal notices that are on the door, missing siding, overgrown lawn, a broken down car, fire damage on the property, handicapped ramps, moving boxes, overstuffed mailboxes, trash or debris, no blinds, on the property or shutters or anything like that, peeling paint. These are just a few, but really what I want to make sure you realize is anything that shows this property has some problems means it's a good opportunity for us because we want to buy a property that has problems, that has motivation and equity. So then the next step is we cold call. Okay, we get on the phone. And this is the best, cheapest, hardest, and most time-consuming way to do this. You use a dialer, which I talked about. It's about $150 a month or $100 a month for a one-line dialer. You'll get a ton of rejection. People are going to say, I am not interested, and most people are going to say that. But occasionally somebody's going to be interested, and that's why we do this. So each time you skip trace, you'll get about 3 phone numbers, and on average, you'd have to make about 500 calls to get a person that's interested. With the dialer, you won't have to do this many. The dialer can make it easier so you don't have to have as much call reluctance. People will yell at you, and they may threaten you. They may wear you out. But just remember, you are not doing anything wrong. You are not selling anything to people. You're making an offer to buy their home. You're not saying, give me money. You're saying, I want to give you money. To do these skip traces, each phone number is going to cost you about 12 cents per property. Now with that, you'll get as many phone numbers and email addresses as they can find when you do the skip trace. When you're calling, I use a phone number. If they call me back, hey, this is Ryan. I'm a property buyer and looking for properties in any area and condition. If you have a home you'd be interested in selling, please leave your name and phone number and I will call you back. So what I can do is set up like a Google phone number so when people call back, they get this message because I don't necessarily want to talk to everybody that I'm calling back because some of those people are not going to be happy with me. They're going to say, why are you calling me? Why are you bugging me? Well, I don't really want to listen to that, so it goes to a voicemail. But if somebody says, yes, I'm interested, then I call those people back right away and get a notification of that. If I get a voicemail, I have a pre-recorded message. When I use the dialer, it actually leaves messages on each one with Mojo Sales. Hi, this is Ryan. I know this is a bit random, but I was wondering if you had any interest in selling your home. If so, give me a call at XYZ. Direct number. If you if you don't, no need to call me back. Meaning, don't call me back if you're not interested in selling. So we've got to talk some numbers here, though, guys. You can add about 30 properties an hour when you're driving around. Meaning, as you drive around, you're seeing about 30 properties. 70%. You will get the info on the skip trace, meaning 30% of the time you're not going to get phone numbers on the skip trace. And keep in mind, not every single phone number is going to be a phone number for that person. They're getting the most accurate, most recent phone numbers they possibly can. And so what you then do is put a first property roadmap together, which is basically reverse engineering your success. If you want to do a deal, how many people do you need to make offers to? If you want to make offers, how many people do you need to go to their house to visit with them? If you're going to their house, how many people do you need to have as prospects? If you want prospects, how many phone conversations do you have? If you want to have phone conversations, how many skip traces do you need to do? If you want to have skip traces, how many properties do you need to find? And so you reverse engineer your success. We call that the first property roadmap. But if you add about 30 properties an hour, 70% of those you'll get phone numbers, 21% of those you'll have a conversation with. 7% of those will be a prospect, meaning they have some interest. 25% of those will turn into an appointment. 75% of those you will make an offer on, and 25% of those you will get a contract. Now, are these like 100% accurate? Well, no, because we're dealing with humans, we're dealing with different areas, we're dealing with different motivations, we're dealing with different salespeople that are taking these phone calls. Like all these things are very varied, but this gives you a starting point, and then as you track your numbers, you can dial this in to understand what your numbers look like. You may get more people, or you may get more people to say yes or less, and then you make some adjustments on that. And one may go up and another one may go down. But let's just kind of give you a rough idea of what we're talking about. If you drive and find 2,250 properties, meaning you should get about 30 an hour, 70% of them we will get contact information, which is 1,575. You will have conversations with about 21% of those, which is about 331 conversations. Of those, 27% or 23 will turn into prospects. Of those, about 25% or 6 of those will turn into appointments. Of those, about 75% or 4 will make an offer, and 25% of those will turn into a contract. These, again, is just a rough idea to help you know how you can reverse engineer your success in today's market when we're dealing with a difficult seller's market. This is how you can start to take advantage of the situation that we're currently in. Now, I've got to tell you, you're going to hear a lot of negatives. People are going to say, I'm not interested. You have to just keep going. You cannot give up. This is not a guarantee. There is risk involved. The area makes a difference. The price range makes a difference. The competition makes a difference. Your skill set makes a difference. But most of all, your consistency. Are you doing this every day, day in and day out? Because that's going to make it consistent. It doesn't necessarily have to be every day, but it definitely needs to be on a weekly basis. You need to be very consistent in your follow-up and making sure that you are contacting these people so that you can find properties in today's market.